Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Kaydalova Nadezhda Vladimirovna.
Good morning, my name is Natalia Gaydarova. Ой, Надежда, sorry. Надежда.
На практическом занятии я...
So on this practical part of our session, I will show you practical implementation, how we do it in our center. Based on the example of soil meliorative investigation, definition of salinization within Salsk district soils, as well as soil ecological exploration of linear objects. Example of construction of automobile road as well as railway road that was done recently towards Platov airport. And on the example of determining the suitability of the land plots for perennial plants establishments. The first part of the session will be devoted to the soil exploration, soil research, aimed at perennial plants growing. I will show you, based on the example of the such a company as Kolkhoz Sovietsky, it's collective farm. This territory is located on the west part of Rostov Oblast. For the beginning of this work, you have to study general features: relief, soil cover, underlying rocks, and the level of groundwater laying. Judging by the general features, this area is suitable for the planting of perennial trees. Now we have to go into details and study whether this land plot is suitable for growing perennial plants or not. While planning field studies, we use the material of agrochemical testing. This data contains soil fertility and the boundaries of the land plots, updated boundaries. Archive maps of soil monitoring during USSR period, based on the large-scale map and the legend to this map attached. We surely used the material of technical reports, which contain full information concerning soil profiles, and show maps of relief and cartographic materials. Most part of the material is scanned. Part is vectorized, and what was vectorized is collected into the soil geographic database. While planning field works, we have to identify the places for the soil sampling, take into account soil differences, fertility, and relief. So for this, we have developed a special application where we can use soil geographic material information. So the work is started with the project management. So we have to add project. We identify the number, select the client. The client is located on the Rostov Oblast, that's why he is already included into our database. And we make comments describing what kind of project it is. Okay, so some kind of description to this project. So after that, we have to attach geometrical parameters to this project, which is already contained within our database. Soil map. And updated field boundaries. Now we go to the management of the settings and view generation. We select the project, the client, and administrative area, which participates in this work. We send the request to the database. So we have the cross-section of one object by the other. as far as the contours of the land plots do not coincide with the contours of the land differences.
Значит,
So in this case, we have the processing of the geometry based on the algorithm.
после этого мы заходим
So after that, we go to
в ArcGIS, ArcMap.
ArcMap.
Подключаемся к нашей почвенно-географической базе.
We connect to our soil geographic map.
И выбираем полученный результат.
And we select the findings. So this is the territory which is used by the client, which is crossed with the soil map. So this territory will be reviewed.
Теперь нам необходимо...
Now we have to put centroids of the polygons that we got. So we go to data management tools, features, feature to point. We select the layer that participates in this operation. We select the place where to save. Now currently, GIS program is under processing. It takes some time, so we have to wait. The points put by the GIS system will participate in this work. At the same time, the soil researcher has to put the points to specify the transitions of the relief and the difference of soils. So these points look like this. So this slide represents the sequence, how it was going on. The boundaries of the land plot connects with the borders of the soil bodies. After that happens traversing of objects. We open GIS program ArcMap, download the layer, and then we put the points. So when we crossed the field, we got the table with a lot of attributive information. We have a number of obligatory fields that have to be saved, and we have excessive information. The obligatory field is parcel ID. This number has to be preserved in the new register book that is important for fulfilling the tests, the analysis, the outcomes of the tests. So in this work, we have to take into consideration the depth of the fertility layer and potentially fertility layer. Reaction of soil medium, dry residue. This refers to the salinity, and also humus, and the content of the carbonates. This is one of limiting factor in order to place the crops. So we have formed the register book. In the obtained layer, so in the point layer, we have to put the coordinates, longitudinal. So we estimate the coordinates. So we estimate latitude and longitude in decimal degrees. So this point layers comes to GPS navigator, and field group goes to the field in order to take the samples of the layers. A description of morphological features of soils have to be done within the field conditions. The findings of such morphological description of soil is done through the software V8. This utility software has full range of lists and reference materials that enables to use it effectively. As far as there is a dropping list, so it eliminates it. In this way, you can't make a lot of mistakes, so it limits mistakes. After the field workers made the samplings, they made the reference book to fill physical and chemical tests. So this kind of book is filled in by the findings. These findings are downloaded to our geographical database. We select the file with physical chemical tests. So it is downloaded into the list of the temporary tables. We find the sample in the list of the main tables. Then downloading is ongoing into our database. At this, temporary table is deleted from the list of temporary tables. In order to make a report and make a conclusion, we have to prepare a cartogram for the client. It is done by GIS software. The polygon is divided into contours by the expert method. By territorial location, we put information from the points on this map. We have prepared files for the coloring. And depending on the tasks of our research, we put special colors. We select the file of coloring. Now we'll make an example of coloring based on the depth of the fertility layer. So the territory is colored depending on the depth of the fertility layer, A+. So the map is generated. You can add the legend. So this is just an example of the cartogram. So this is the first part of the practical session. Second part of my practical session. Carry out soil research works while planning the access road construction to the Platov airport. Our region is famous for the active construction now, and quite often the clients come to us and request such kind of work to be done. The work is started with the preparatory works. Obligatory, we take into account the territory's differences. We find the reports describing the horizons of this territory and physical-chemical analysis. So as soon as this information is gathered, we work with our soil and geographic database. As far as the client is located not within Rostov Oblast, we have to include him into our database. So we put the name of the client, individual text number, and address of the client. Save this information into our database. So we add the project, number of the contract, select the client, and make some description. A construction of the automobile road, and we save it into our database. We also include geometry that is useful for this testing.
Это почвенная карта.
Soil map and the line of the automobile road. Unfortunately, it cannot be viewed now. So we have to go to the parameters to form
Формирование представления.
the view. We select the client
Заказчика выбираем.
and we select the area, the region where the automobile road will be constructed. And we send requests to the database. We select the polygons, the soil contours of which cover the automobile road. So we select this program software ArcMap. We connect to our database. And we download the findings.
Полученный результат.
So it looks like this. I'm going to present how the access road is lined. So now you can see the automobile road and soil differences that it covers.
Она затрагивает.
In this situation, the soil expert puts the points according to the soil differences.
По почвенным разным.
So these points will be the places of the profiles in order to describe the depth of the fertility layer or potentially fertility layer. This is required in order to estimate the amount of transition of the fertility layers. Fertility layer cannot be used while construction. It should be cut, it should be removed and transferred for the preservance, for the recultivation of the damaged soils. So I will try to put some points. Having got the points, the field group goes to the field survey. So they make the profiles, they describe them in the field conditions. So they make the reports for the laboratory testing. They bring it into our company. So they give them to the laboratory to make tests. Field morphological description is organized through the form V8. When we make the record book for the field workers, the record book should contain the field parcel ID. This is the obligatory field from the database. So as soon as we get the results of the tests, the file with the obligatory layer
Слоем мы
is selected.
выбираем.
We download it into the list of the temporary tables. Select it in the temporary tables, then find the sample in the main tables.
Таблиц.
И производим слияние.
And make the merging. We issue to the client only morphological description. This project doesn't foresee cartograms with the elements content. The second part of this session is over.
Третья часть занятия посвящена
The third part of our practical session is devoted to soil amelioration approbation for the salinity of the territory survey. Soil amelioration survey of the territory includes the complex of field and laboratory cameral works. The preparatory stage of this project is the same as in previous two types of surveys. We get the outcomes of agrochemical survey, soil survey findings that were made during USSR period. Relief maps are not included in this survey. As far as this territory is used for rice growing, and it is organized by definite type. The first stage of working with our database starts traditionally with project management. So we make the project, number of the contract date, then we select the client name. Client is located within Rostov period, so it is already included in the list of clients. And then we make description of the project, salinity. So this project appeared in our database. We select the type of geometry, soil map, and updated field boundaries. We go to the view management, make the project, select the client, and the region, Salsk region. Make a request to the database. So we go to GIS software. Connect to our database. Select our layer. The territory under survey appears here. Soil expert puts the points for the profiles and open test pits. So these points are attached to latitude and longitude. We remove the fields that we don't need, only leave parcel ID and coordinates. And then we put information into fields that are required for the review, for the survey. Obligatory observed natrium, dry residue, capability of cation exchange, reaction of soil medium. Field group goes to the fields for the survey. They make a morphological description of the layers of the horizons. They made the samples of the horizon, or they take the samples from the horizons. They bring it to the center. The samples are sent for the testing. And then the soil expert makes the morphological description of the soil using V8 form. So this software includes full range of references and descriptions that help to avoid any kind of mistakes. The findings of the tests are registered in the table. This table is downloaded to the list of temporary tables. So we select this temporary table, search for the sample in the list of the main tables, and make the merging. Thus, our database is updated. Using modern information that in future helps to analyze negative processes. Based on the results of the tests, we have to build the cartogram. We have prepared the coloring layers.
Окраски.
The example is based on the carbonates depth.
Глубине карбонатов. А тут его нету. Так.
So the territory is colored according to the carbonates content. So the third part of our session is over.